seeds were sown. The first seed said, I will spread my wings and fly. I will dip my roots and burrow into the soil to discover what's beneath, to benefit from the richness of the soil. I will let my leaves and my flowers to blossom with the coming of spring, and I will let them breathe the air that comes with the freshness of spring. The second leaf said, I am so scared. I don't want to go into the soil. I am afraid of the unknown. I don't want to venture. I don't want my leaves and my flowers to taste of what is above, what is uncertain. And so, the first seed blossomed and enjoyed with the changing times. Meanwhile, the second seed perished and stayed in its comfort zone. What do you think about this story? What can you say about this story?
Oh, it's such an interesting story. I think the first seed was courageous to have dared to come out and blossom, face the weather,
yes,
bear the difficulties, and it finally blossomed.
Yeah.
But the second seed was stricken by fear and maybe was not confident enough to be able to come out and search out his or her potential, and blossom. So it finally had to die without even exploring life in itself. So
that is great.
I think the first seed was more courageous than the second seed.
Yeah, that's about, so we can just say the first seed kind of like expanded its horizon, right?
Yeah.
Try to see above the level at which he or she or it was meant to be. You know, decided to stretch its wings and stretch its tentacles to all the directions. And then the last seed was maybe shy and just wanted to stay in its comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really, really, really great interpretation there. All right, I want to ask you another question. If you had to give some motivation, if you had to motivate, inspire, or encourage the second seed, what would you tell it?
I think it's an interesting question. The second seed, I would say, needed some awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness raising. The second seed maybe was ignorant of the fact that there are potentials that it can explore in order to grow or to blossom. So I would think the second seed needed awareness. Secondly, the second seed, I would think, also needed self-confidence, because it needed someone to boost you up and encourage you that you have what it takes and that you are capable of doing that which is expected of you.
Exactly.
So I think self-confidence is the second encouragement I will give the second seed.
Yeah.
And thirdly, I will tell the second seed that it's a matter of choice. You know, you should be able to explore the choices that you have.
Exactly.
Because you should not be limited just to the hole that you were planted. Why not come out and try to see what is beneath the earth and try to explore the choices that are at the surface of the earth.
Yeah.
So the second seed was not daring enough to explore the choices that it had.
Yeah.
And I think lastly, I want to tell the second seed that, of course, the second seed should be able to increase its access and control.
Okay.
So in everything you're doing, it's always good to be able to increase your access. Increasing your access means you try to go beyond the potentials that you have and explore other potentials.
Great.
And not only exploring, but trying to control, trying to take power over that which you have explored already.
Yeah.
So it doesn't suffice you just having access. You have access that, okay, the soil has been given you, you have been planted in the soil. So you come out from the soil, you spread out your roots, you have the stem, you go to the leaves, then your fruits and flowers. So I think, in my opinion, that's my little advice I would have given to the second seed.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's really, really empowering. There's a lot of inspiring and empowering words, or empowering, empowering advice that you're giving out to the second seed. We could just consider that the seeds are two different individuals, right? Okay, that's really great advice coming from our special guest on Vibes with Pet on today's special edition. Here we have Quinta. I must tell you, Quinta is a holder of a Bachelor of Science degree in Gender Studies with Sociology. That's a double major, guys. And also she has a master's degree in social work and leadership development from a university in Beijing. So let's welcome Quinta to Vibes with Pet today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Great. It's also my pleasure to have someone who's well read like you. Okay, on today's special edition, that we're going to talk a lot about empowering, right? That's why I started my show with the little story, and only from your interpretation of the story, it's so empowering, and anyone else who happens to be the first seed or the second seed will have something to learn from your advice. Yeah, okay, thank you one more time.
Thank you.
Great. So today I want to ask you, after giving so much inspiring messages about the story, I think it's so empowering, and I think many more people will be empowered by your interpretation of that story. So what, in your opinion, would you say is the meaning of empowering, maybe empowering someone? What, in your opinion, would you say is the meaning of that?
Okay. Thank you. I think I'll start by saying empowerment. It's globally empowerment, if we want to consider the United Nations definition of empowerment. Is increasingly, is the act of increasingly strengthening at the personal, political, social, and economic level of an individual or a community. So it's basically that is empowerment. There we are not specific yet, but if we want to come to the specific aspect of empowerment, which I would like to consider maybe empowering the women and the girl child, we can say, in my opinion, I would say empowering the women and the girl child is the act of taking into the concerns, having the concerns of women and girls gaining power and control. What I mean is, you notice I've used continuous tense. I said increasing, I said gaining control. That is to mean empowerment is not a stage, it's a process. So it doesn't start and end somewhere, it's a continuous process. So if we are talking of empowering an individual, usually it starts from the socialization process. The socialization process is in the house, where the children are growing up. A mother has a child, a girl, and maybe a female child. How you groom them up, what you tell them, they become. A girl, you're weak. If you're crying, it's okay. The boy, you're supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to cry and all that. So it begins from that level of nurturing. So from that level, they are already inculcating the attributes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, okay? I can't help have goosebumps over me. You're talking about grooming from the basis, from the basic level of the house or your home. Okay, so I get it.
It goes from that socialization level at the home to the school. The school there, the teachers take over. They encourage maybe more of the boys to become maybe the science, the doctors, the engineers. Then they say, oh, the ladies, you can be a nurse, you can be a teacher. Then you can do your house chores because you're just good From there, you get married, and that's good for you. Then it leaves that area now and goes now to the professional area. Even at the professional area, where women are looking for employment and all that, it becomes very challenging because the jobs choices that are available usually for women, even when they hardly have positions of decision making, and it's only at that level of decision making level that they can be able to ascertain power. And it's when they can ascertain power that they are empowered. Because it's true that there's gender equality, because giving them the same opportunities, giving them the same access, the same
I was going to ask you that, because you earlier mentioned that at school they're going to groom the boys to become science inclined, be doctors, be engineers, and maybe be pilots. I was going to ask you, is it that only the boys have the capability, the ability to become doctors, engineers? Don't we have women who can be those people?
No, of course. Girls are also, they have that inherent capacity to become those doctors, but now is the motivation.
Great.
They need that motivation. They need to be created that awareness.
All right.
That, like the illustration we have of the first seed and the second seed.
Great.
All the advice I gave the first seed is needed to be able to accompany, is involved in the level of empowerment building. So you need to accompany that girl child into those areas. So you start by encouraging that girl that no, you have what it takes. Like your brother, you can study hard, you can understand math, you have the capacity, you can become a doctor, you can become an engineer. So it builds that awareness. Then you build a child's confidence as well. Because it starts by you have given them, the platform is you've given them the opportunity. Wonderful. They have the access. The boy and the girl should go to school equally. That's the access. At that level now, what comes in beyond having access is for them now to have that awareness, build their self-confidence, have not only access but control. And control comes at the level where they can get into decision-making positions, positions of leadership. Because if we take Cameroon, for example, our country, our home country, so you see that Cameroon, if we want to take maybe the political scene of Cameroon, say, okay, how many women leaders
do we have
vie in for presidential elections? I think so far, to the best of my understanding, it's just one. We have just Kawala. So those are positions, and there are situations and there are structures that if you are not at the helm of decision making, you can't take those decisions concerning women. Because women's concerns can only be catered for by women themselves, because we best understand our situation and our problems.
So what she means is that women can empower women, right?
Yeah, women can empower women, but I also mean that women can be, if women are in decision-making position, they can take decisions that are going to benefit many other women. Because men will not understand the concerns
or the
of other
ability
women,
or what a woman is capable of doing, unless another woman is there to know that what she can do, other women can do it.
Yes. So the needs of women can be known and understood by
women.
Yeah, other women.
Okay.
So women need to get to those strategic positions of decision making.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that line of discussion, but I would like to go a little bit from talking about our women and getting empowered, but it's still within the context. So I want to ask you, talking about women being able to empower other women, do you believe that some women, or the concept of empowering a woman, has been misinterpreted by modern day women? Let me put it this way, the concept of women empowerment, is it sometimes misinterpreted by some women or executed by some women?
I'll recognize the fact that the concept of women empowerment cannot be understood by every other woman.
Exactly.
Because women are of different strata within the community,
social,
the society.
Yeah, that's great.
We have women in the informal sector, we have women in the formal sector, we have women who have been schooled, we have women who have not been schooled. But what I want to say is, at every other level, women have the ability, the inherent ability to get empowered.
Exactly.
Maybe I would want to spell out empowerment at this level in a very flat manner.
Okay.
That empowerment is the ability for a woman in this aspect to be able to monitor and direct your own destiny.
Exactly.
So that is empowerment in my perspective. What do I mean by this? It means you have everything in your own hand to know that, okay, this is where I want to go, and these are the things that I will do in order to get there. Not that that woman will not be accompanied. That woman will be accompanied by the family, by the community, by the other development partners, and the government. So you have instruments too that have been put in place in order to accompany the woman, be it the local woman, be it the educated woman. That's all levels in the society.
So the summary is that, okay, empowering a woman doesn't mean making a woman to be, let me use the word wayward, because when you go to, like you said, there are different categories of women. And if you go sometimes to the local, I just put local woman in quotes, right? Taking the context of our own country, sometimes the woman who probably hasn't gone through a formal education will misinterpret the concept of empowering a woman. Like some women think that empowering a woman means being disobedient or being disrespectful from her home, you know, being disrespectful of her husband, being disrespectful of home rules or healthy home rules. And because it's said that women should be empowered, they like, I have the right to do what I have to do. Okay, women have to be empowered. But actually, the concept of empowerment doesn't mean a woman should become radical. Right.
No,
it doesn't mean the woman should become radical, right?
No, I don't think empowerment is making a woman radical. That is not the intended purpose of empowerment.
Exactly.
I think empowerment is about making the woman having control of herself and her own destiny. And that every woman, it is said, when a woman is empowered, the whole family is empowered.
Not only a family, the whole nation is empowered.
So
the community
is that at that level, because women, whatever they have as resources, they always take it back to the family, they will take it back to the community, they will take it back to the nation.
Exactly.
So if you say, maybe I want to give you a vivid example of you giving, just meet a woman, you get into a household and you give a woman maybe 100 renminbi. We are in China, let's talk within the context of the renminbis.
Yes.
So you give a woman 100 renminbi, that money, it's likely to go back into that family. Exactly. If that woman does not use it to buy food for the children, that woman is going to use it to do something that will still come back to the home. But it's most likely, and research has proven, that if that money is given to a man, that man may likely use that money out with his friends.
Exactly.
So I think it's very important to empower a woman.
Empower a woman, especially positively, okay? Dear viewers, I know that we heard a lot, we've seen a lot of people or organizations or the government trying in one way or the other to empower the woman. And we, from what she said, she basically answered the next question I was going to ask her, which was why the stress on empowering a woman? Why don't we hear about men and whatever empowerment? We usually hear about women empowerment. Why the stress? Why the choice of empowering the woman, not someone else? So she basically answered the question, which is, I'm going to give you back the answer, which is, if you empower a woman, you empower the whole nation. Because woman is just like food to the world. A woman brings, it nourishes the world. The woman brings the world, when a woman gives birth to a baby today, tomorrow, it's a whole nation building. And also a woman has to have sanity. The woman has to be sane in order for her to be empowered, So we have to respect a woman if we need a successful society. So thank you for that.
I want to add something.
Okay,
I will add to that.
Welcome.
I will say, we also want to empower a woman because somehow, because of the the traditional gender roles, the woman had been relegated to the background. So we are trying to step up. It's equality. Yes, equality means everybody is given the same opportunity, the same capacity to operate. But now the woman, most women cannot operate at that same capacity like the men because they're already been relegated. Relegated, maybe they don't have sufficient education to compete with the men in the employment sector. So this woman needs to be empowered. Empowerment means now, if we are talking of empowering the woman and laying emphasis on the woman, it's because we want to bring the woman into fairness. That is gender equity. At that level now, we recognize the fact that the man has had much more for a
advantages,
time. So now let the woman step up. So there's a kind of positive discrimination that will help the woman to step up to the level of the man to give that balance, and that is why we lay a lot of emphasis on women's empowerment.
Yeah, that means we need to make the woman realize that she's more than what she sees herself to be. Right. So it's not all about the woman rising up to conquer or to rule over the man, because of course we can't forget this. We can't push it behind. Even though we talk about women empowerment or equity, we wouldn't forget, or we wouldn't go past it, that a woman is always going to be a weaker sex. Like, a man will always be the man, you know. A man will always be the stronger person, the physically strong person. But the woman, we talk about empowerment here, we don't mean going to make the woman to become physically strong to be able to fight or defend the family. Even though some women do that, okay? So the man will always have his own position.
Betty, I would disagree with you.
Oh my God, that's
being the weaker sex there. I would disagree totally. Maybe from a gender perspective, I disagree. I would think that
maybe I should put weaker sex in quotes in this case. I mean physical force, okay?
Yeah, biologically. We recognize that the man is stronger.
It's stronger. That's what I meant. I hope you don't disagree still.
No, I can agree with you.
That's what I meant. Okay, I didn't mean weaker in the mind. No, I meant the physical force. Yes, the man will always. That's where we can't reconcile, even though some women are pretty stronger, you know, physically. Okay, guys, you will still on to Vibes with Pet, and our guest Quinta is really a mind opener to most of our viewers out there, especially the women folk, and not forgetting the men. So I just want to ask you, when we talk about empowerment, does it mean someone should be empowering another all the time? Does it mean that someone must need someone to empower? This time around, I'm not talking about, or we are not focused on women empowerment. I'm talking about empowerment as a whole. Do we always need someone to empower another?
Yeah, I think it's very important for us to empower one another, because when I started the global definition from the United Nations on empowerment as a whole was dealing with the individual and the community. Individual at this level is both men and women. Then the community now is the family and the larger family and all that. So what I want to say is it's important for us to always empower one another. If I would take the ministry, for example, the National Women's Missionary back home, which is the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and the Family, it is a structure that empowers young girls. It has women empowerment centers. So those women empowerment centers, they are centers that have been built in place to train young girls, specifically those who have dropped out or women that have dropped out from school. You can still go there and learn a trade, so that you learn a substantial education that can help you be able to get and meet your strategic needs. Those needs that are not just basic needs every day, those needs that can help you gain power. They are needs such as you having an employment. So because such structures exist, women go there, they learn textile, they learn cook, restaurant, cookery, and all that. So they do that, and they are able to gain an income generating activity that empowers them. empowerment.
Okay.
So not only does the ministry does this alone in back home, the ministry does this alongside other development partners. You have the United Nations, you have other non-governmental organizations that are working to empower the girls as well as the young boys as well. You have projects that are coming up that all these, the youths are being empowered, the women specifically, the young girls specifically.
Okay.
So you have all those structures in place.
Yeah, great. I'm going to cut you there. Actually, I want to focus on this point. Like, do we always need someone to empower us? Can't individuals empower themselves?
Of course, we can get empowerment all by ourselves. That's why I said empowerment. What is it? It's you taking your life into your hands
another level
and getting your destiny, to your destiny. But you some people are not aware of the things that will enable them, that can accompany them
to another
the process of empowerment. That's what I was saying.
So they need guidance, right?
If you're aware, it starts with awareness creation. You are aware that this is what you are confident, you have that self-confidence. Secondly, thirdly, you know that there's a variety of choices that I can make. To have substantial knowledge, you need substantial knowledge that will help you to accompany you through this process. And lastly, you need an increase in access. Not only access but control, because you can have access. What is access? Is the ability that is given to you to use something only. But when you talk of control, you can use and decide on that thing. So there is need for access, not only access but control as well. So that you can not only be given maybe a piece of land that you need to work your farm, but you can work that farm, your products that you harvest from there, you sell and decide what to do with your money.
Exactly.
So that is access and control. So if every woman is conscious of the fact, or every individual is conscious of the fact that empowerment, I can get myself empowered, I can use my substantial knowledge, my inherent talent, I can develop them, I can become empowered, and I'll be able. Empowerment in itself is contagious. Because once you yourself you're empowered, you want to empower the next
person.
Yeah,
that's really great. So I want to remind us viewers that our topic for today is based on general empowerment, but we've laid more stress or emphasis on empowering the girl child or the female. The female and not the male. But today's focus or our chat is generally on empowerment, meaning that we all can get out of our comfort zones. We can move with a changing society. What is it that we have in us? What capabilities, what abilities do we have that we can make use of to benefit the society, to benefit our homes, and to benefit ourselves? We can move, we can bear the risk of trying to explore, expanding our horizons, and discovering what on the other side. We don't sit in our comfort zones and we expect to move to a next level or to flourish. Just like the first seed that decides to spread its wings, we all are called upon to spread our wings and then discover the things that we can offer to our society, because the society needs minds that are always changing. Yes, you can do it. You have the ability to move on. You have the ability to search and bring out those hidden potentials in you. You have the ability to empower yourself. You have the ability and the potentials to empower other people. But please, let's stay positive and not derail when we try to empower. Okay, thank you very much, Quinta, for taking part on today's slot on Vibes Prepared. We are so grateful to have you, and I'm sure the viewers out there have learned a lot. Okay, most people have been motivated and inspired by the information and knowledge that you've been able to dish out today. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, all right. So, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition on Vibes with Pet. See you